Alright, hello. My name is Gavin Hare. This is my final presentation for the class IGME 420, also known as Level Design. Level Design 1, rather. I made my level for Half-Life 2, and I'm going to show it to you. So go to map. So we clean up. We will spawn in. You'll see name, Sten McKenzie, occupation, janitor, and job, clean up the zombies. That's where the whole zombie cleanup comes from. If we look up here, we can see there's a skybox. The player has come in through a manhole of some sorts, I guess because the zombie issue has started in the sewers and has spread up into the building that the player will later on come into. So the player will spawn in here, be looking this way, turn around, see a door, and also a light. The light is pointing to a crowbar, guiding the player to pick it up, because things that are lit, players are going to, generally want to gravitate towards that. Crowbar can be used to break things. There's also a small little health kit in here, in case any players have a lot of trouble with the next room, although they really shouldn't. So in this room, we've got some head crabs. I just picked up the health kit automatically because it's close enough. And, when you open this door, I'll actually restart the map here. I took very long to start up playing because I was explaining things. If you open this door initially on map startup, you're going to see that head crab, the red light, and the player is immediately going to think, oh, that's dangerous. If they've never played Half-Life 2 before, they're probably going to assume the light's red, there's some sort of little thing on the ground. This is probably dangerous. And over here, there's a, out of the line of sight for a player just walking in, they're going to see, you can find a crate. That crate contains some goodies, suit armor, a grenade, and in the staircase is also another head crab. But the player can't really seem to get past here. This crate is blocking the way. Teaches the player how to use the crowbar. Wow, head crabs. And then we've got a zombie. Player might take a little bit of damage from the zombie, but it's fine. And that's why when they come over here to this other table that's also lit up by a light, they can see a pistol. And they see a pistol, some health kit, and if you took damage from the zombie, assuming you didn't find the thing there, you can take this health kit, heal yourself up, get this pistol, and you can see over here the zombie pushed out of the way, but there is a chair right about here, and over on this table was a pistol, some ammo, and some beer bottles. One of them is already shattered. And this sort of is a way to teach the player like this is a weapon. It can break bottles and does damage. And also a small little vignette. Maybe someone was, on their shift working in the sewers, was really bored one day, decided, oh, I'll take out the gun, shoot up some beer bottles, whatnot. Have a health kit on hand for safety. There's also a supply crate over here. Again, observant players. We'll see this open pipe and go through and see this area below. Down here, we've got a bunch of zombies. The player was observant. They might find a grenade here, chuck it down. The better failure is to kill some of the head crabs, some of the zombies. And it's very deliberate that this pipe that comes out to this room is all the way up here, just so they can safely get used to the pistol, safely shoot at things. If players are really observant, they can actually notice that there's a zombie right behind that pillar, and do that. If you actually turn around, there's another supply crate for, again, observant players trying to look for any little extra things, because if you ever played Half-Life 2, they hide lots of little ammo crates all around to help players who are a bit more observant than the others. Of course, there's a supply crate here, some suit armor, and over here we see a dead guy with a shotgun at his feet. There's also a zombie hidden behind this pillar as well. Shoot him, he's dead. Immediately, if the player picked up the shotgun and shot this zombie subsequently, they'll realize, wow, this is a very powerful weapon. It just killed that zombie in one shot when I was shooting all the other zombies maybe 5 times, 6 times, maybe more if they haven't been aiming for the head with the pistol. So it teaches the player, wow, this shotgun's really good. Should probably use it. This guy might have been the guy up there, you know, with the pistol or whatever. Maybe he hopped down to do some work, and then, well, the zombies got him. And we've also got some leading lines with the bloodstains leading to this vent. The light shining on the guy, so you know shotgun's there. It's a bit hard to see in here because otherwise the room is pretty dimly lit. Anyway, we've got our crowbar. Supposed to open the vent. It's dark in here. Turn on our flashlight. Oh god, there's a head crab in here. It's a classic Half-Life 2 map design thing. If there's ever any vents, there's usually going to be a crab waiting around a corner for you. Got another set flag right here, and we've also got this pushcart with a crate on it. And that sort of is prepping the player for what's coming next, which, you know, you see this health and armor charger. You can hear some what sounds like head crabs, and around the corner we see this storage room. Came out of a vent from the sewers into the storage room, and players can take their time shooting down some zombies, but taking your time isn't going to last you forever, because there are a lot of zombies. Poison head crabs. At this point, you know, you would hope that they're using the shotgun after maybe picking off 1 or 2 enemies with the pistol, because the shotgun is placed deliberately out there to be used in the room because of the enemy. Got some fast zombies to make sure players are paying attention. Some poison head crabs up top on these shelves to add a bit more difficulty. Whenever we're just fighting zombies, we're fighting enemies that give status effects and whatnot. So I'll clear out this room. There's a grenade here. If you found it earlier, you're gonna throw it. You'll lock out zombies with it. Toss them down. All that fun stuff. And as you can see, there's just head crabs everywhere in these little shelves, all swarmed up and ready to pounce on them. I'm really happy with this room's design because you've got all those head crabs up there that are jumping down on the player while they're trying to shoot through all the zombies. So, you know, zombies are pretty easy to deal with. You sort of just aim at their head and shoot. So the head crabs add a little bit of an extra challenge to where you have to pay attention to multiple things and try and position yourself in a way where you're not going to get smacked and hit. Some more boxes here. We don't really have anything else for us. There is an ammo crate up there, but we can't seem to reach it. Maybe if the player stacked some boxes up, we could reach it. Come up here. There we go. It's only if they really need it, though. Moving on, we've got a flickering light, just to show that, you know, not all of these lights are the same. Any observant people might actually realize that, you know, some of these lights have a slight flicker. They're not all the same brightness. This light specifically is brighter than the rest of them. Just makes it feel a bit more realistic, because if you've ever been in a warehouse, you'd notice that some lights are just not as good as the others. Supply crates, you know, we're in this sort of warehouse area now. We come out here, and then we see this big bright spot, and some sort of workbench, a chair here, got some soup batteries, and this thing. And we've got a little tooltip in the bottom right. Teaches you very basic instructions on how to use the gravity. And we've also got a sneaky poison zombie in the shadows here, just because players are probably going to come here. Is it a little bit of troll design? Yes. but I think that's fine. You know, gotta surprise the player sometimes. And here we just have a puzzle for using the gravity gun. You know, players have been given a gravity gun, now they're expected to use it, figure out how it works. A lot of people I've shown this level to have asked, you know, can you actually soft lock here? Because these crates are breakable. And the answer is no, because this bench is also able to be picked up and replaced, as are these filing cabinets. So you could stack up here with the filing cabinet and bench. It might be a little bit more tedious than the boxes, but it is more than possible. You use the barrel as well, which is indestructible. You can pick up the barrel again. Stack some barrels on top of each other. And, you know, there's basically no worry about soft locking should you play your cards right. Have another supply crate there in case the player took a lot of damage from the poison zombie. They could also backtrack to get the health pickup, although there's also a health and armor pickup right here. So there's really not much reason to do that. So we'll climb up here to the top. We see some explosive barrels, got a health and armor thing, and we got a bunch of zombies in this room. Players who maybe still don't understand the gravity gun will probably go in, shoot the zombies or whatever, but if they've understood what they've been given, they'll launch this explosive barrel, all the zombies will be alerted. Maybe chuck a grenade in there, or another explosive barrel, your choice. And just watch as the fight unfolds, because there are a lot of explosive barrels. It's a big, exciting finish at the end. Everyone loves explosions. You see all the zombies and headcrabs burning. We're in some sort of impression of a car garage. This was made near the end of my time working on this level, so I didn't have a lot of time to decorate this really nice and, you know, add some parking spots or whatever. But you can kind of get the feel like there's a big car here. There are these, you know, floodlights and whatnot. It's parking garage enough. And then we come to our janitor's closet, and we find some buckets, some other things, some bleach and whatnot. So it's time to get to work. Fades to black, and boots you out of the level. And that's the level. So now I'm going to go back into the map. You know, I don't want to keep this going forever, but if you're interested in listening, I'd say the normal video ends now. But I will keep yammering because I did really like this project, and I'm very happy with what I did. So I will turn on speed score cheats 1, turn on no clip, grab the weapons just in case, and we can pop out of the map here and get an overall look at everything from the outside. I will say the janitor's closet here, I did try putting a broom in there. The broom prop does not play nice with the level editor. You know, it kept giving me errors, and it would literally just force delete the prop if I tried to put it in. I don't know how to put it in. Couldn't really figure out. I just said, screw it. The buckets and the, you know, bleach and whatnot will be enough of an impression. The little skybox here is actually really tiny, and that's just to save on resources, because you don't need to make things any bigger than they need to be. If I really wanted to go all out, maybe I could have added some buildings up here or whatnot, you know, imported some sounds and put a soundscape in that would make it sound like there's cars running up above. If I wanted to really go crazy, maybe I'd make some moving brushes that go over this that look like cars. But for the most part, you know, I think having this little manhole cover and the skylight is just enough to sort of give the impression that this is a manhole, you've gone down into the sewers, And coming through here just reveals that to you more, as you go to these pipes and whatnot. All good and fun. If you did watch my last playthrough of this level, you will probably notice some very minimal changes. For starters, this pipe is actually properly textured now. It's not like this whole wall has a pipe texture on it, because I decided to clean it up a little bit when I was showing my friend the level I made, and so I was like, yeah, this looks messy, let me fix that. The little floodlight here to the shotgun now has a proper light source, so it looks like the lamp is lit. Got a whole bunch of zombies here. Clear them out. Actually, I can just do no target, and now nothing will attack me. And we can just have a nice peaceful time. This room is pretty basic, but all it was really intending to do was teach the player, here's how you use the pistol. You can shoot things with it. They die. And you can do it from a safe spot, or you could jump down if you really want to. I should also mention this is a one-way. You can't backtrack after this. Not that it's really necessary, but, you know. Come through the rest of the level. Again, this is one of my favorite segments. Not all of the zombies show here, and I don't know why. Like, we all know there's a zombie right here, actually. Yep, there we go. Probably some sort of engine limitations. You can hear them. There it is. I'm not sure the exact reasoning as to why they do that, but, you can also see that the head crabs, like, actually crawl around up here on these shelves. And they're able to crawl under here. And that's because I actually used node graphs and info nodes and whatnot to let the AI know where they're going. These zombies don't roam around as much, simply either because that's how they're coded or I didn't set them up properly. But I think it's better for the player to walk in and see the zombie threat before they all target them just automatically upon walking through this hallway. Because the chargers are pretty close together here, right to the room, so you probably want the player to have a little bit of time to take a breather before they go into a big, hard fight. Totally zombie here, the big poison zombie here, and take a look back at this. So let's get out of no clip. So, player walks in here, sees this bright light. You know, there's also a big machine, but they don't know what's behind there yet. They turn and see this bright light and some sort of bench with a doohickey on it. And as I said before, there's a tutorial pop up here. This is probably one of my favorite things with this level because, like, even in other Half-Life maps, they don't really give you little tutorial pop-ups. It's really subtle, but, you know, when the base game of Half-Life 2 gives you a tutorial, it does the same thing, so I just wanted to be true to form. And finally, I'm just going to talk about some weaknesses this level has, you know, some things that are rough around the edges. Most notably, this room. I added this room in because people... I had gotten some feedback saying, you know, like, the gravity gun used to just be here, and then this hallway would lead into the room up there. And people were like, yeah, we're not really sure why the gravity gun, this, like, high-tech thing, is just sitting here in some storage facility / sewer place. And I was like, yeah, you're kind of right. So I added this little room to be like, okay, here's the gravity gun. Some sort of workbench, you know, someone's working on it. There's batteries to the left of it, so, you know, it took some power or something. But the rest of this room isn't really that great. I wanted to design a level where you had to use the gravity gun to climb up with physics project props and whatnot, but in doing so, the level geometry of this room is a little blocky and doesn't look that great. Which is upsetting because, you know, the rest of this level doesn't look half bad. Granted, you know, could definitely use some improvements. Some little decals on the walls or something just to break up the monotony of the textures. But for the most part, you know, that room is overall probably one of the blandest. Let's go back, no clip back on. Additionally, this room at the end, it is fun to have an explosive barrel blow up, see all the zombies die, big explosions of fire, but, you know, in terms of difficulty and pacing, it might be a little bit disappointing to more experienced players who maybe wanted a big arena at the end, and all they got was just some explosions and a fade to black. This map is, again, I don't know if I mentioned this, slightly different from the version that I showed in the final. I did mention that. Some of the lights here have the actual like skin texture to being on. Beforehand they were off, like this one. I didn't do any input-output thing to change the skin on this, but I could certainly do that if I had more time to work on this level. You can see the lights here. They have this on texture. If they didn't have that on texture, they'd have that weird black lighting error on the top side of the bulb. And finally, some other things that I really like about this level are these lights in this room specifically, though, because while the rest of the room doesn't look that great, you know, there's not a lot of props or decals or things that sort of break up the visuals of the room, these lights do have this cool spotlight effects that I gave them, similar to the floodlights in the earlier parts of the level. And, you know, on its own, if you're looking at this room, the lights kind of pull you away from seeing these, you know, bland repeating textures and whatnot. Because these lights do look very pretty at times. They got a nice glow to them. And they really do look like they're actual, you know, light sources instead of just things used to make the player see. If I had to make any improvements to this level, I'd probably, you know, add a lot more props to this, or like, you know, just little brushes and geometries to make this look more lived in. You've got a catwalk up here, something along those lines, because right now this room out of any of them is really, really bland. Aside from, you know, little bits like the lights or this little spot that gives the introduction to the gravity gun. Maybe I'd remove the zombie just to give them, the player, you know, comfort to mess around with the gravity gun with no threats. Maybe improve the lighting somewhat, that way you don't have dark spots here and that other ledge. And, you know, if I had to remake this level from entirely, I might actually, you know, just cut out that whole sewer section, because the other critique I got when I was making this level, you know, originally there was no vent here. It was all just, you know, this room just had a doorway that led into the storage area, and someone was like, well, how are you going from a sewer to just a neat, or mostly neat and orderly storage area? And I was like, that's a great point. So I did add a vent to sort of make that a bit nicer. Really, I just wanted a sewer system so I could show off some advanced brushwork with these pipes, you know, have some circles, because it's not easy to make these. You can't just make a cylinder and then hollow it out. You have to make a quarter of a circle and then duplicate it and then stretch it out. Otherwise, it'll cause problems in the level editor. And yeah, that's basically all there is to say about the level. I am also really happy with the level exit transition. You know, on the entrance, like most Half-Life maps, custom or not, you're given some text saying who you are, you're Gordon Freeman, or you're Stan McKenzie, or you're Alex Vance, something along those lines. Job, occupation, whatever. And when you finish up, you get a nice fade to black instead of just, you know, nothing. And maybe if there was continuation to that level, could show off a cleaned up version of the map. You know, no zombies, maybe there's some NPCs, and then, whoa, the Combine's raiding or whatnot. And then you got to kill the Combine, and then, you know, the Combine's gone, but now you got to clean up that too at the end of that level. It's like, when's the work ever over? But I hope you enjoyed. I had a lot of fun in this class. I don't even know if you're going to listen to this because I said you can stop listening at a certain point. I would go into, you know, the level editor and show off some other things that I think are cool. But this recording is already getting to like 26 minutes, so I'm not going to keep you waiting. Thank you very much for teaching this class, Sten, and also Sophia, if you're watching this. And I hope you have a great summer.